Welcome, seekers of wisdom, to Beacon of Ancient Insights. Today, let's pause and delve into a truth that resonates with many of us. Perhaps you found yourself pouring your energy, time, and heart into someone else's world, hoping they'd finally see your value. You gave generously, set aside your own path to walk theirs, and in the process offered parts of yourself without hesitation. In every moment you prioritized their needs, believed your kindness would spark appreciation, that your presence would matter. Each time you were there, a steady foundation. And with each selfless act, perhaps you quietly wished they'd recognize what you were giving. But did they? Instead, you became a source of comfort, a constant presence that went unnoticed. Despite your best intentions, the care and patience you offered were brushed aside, leaving you feeling unseen, reduced to the background. Each effort, each word, each sacrifice was met with indifference. You tried to bridge the distance, to reach a place of mutual respect, yet all your attempts were met with silence. You gave so much, and it seemed they simply turned away. But now, you have the chance to reclaim something priceless, your own value. This is the turning point, the moment to step back and recognize that the worth you were seeking was yours all along. Silence. It's a potent choice, isn't it? Suddenly, you're no longer there on their radar, no more late-night messages, no casual calls, no reassuring presence. It's as if you vanished, left only in the echoes of memory. And now, that silence, your quiet withdrawal, has become the loudest response you could give. This silence is the turning of tides. The one they took for granted, the one they thought would never leave, has faded into the background, leaving them to confront the emptiness. Outwardly, they may act composed, presenting a confident front to the world, but inside, the silence weighs heavily. Behind closed doors, they face the reality they once ignored, feeling the void and the pang of regret. They want to reach out, to bridge the gap, but their pride holds them captive, left to wrestle with what they let slip away. In public, they might smile and laugh. In private, shadows of regret follow them, filling each quiet moment with the ache of what they lost. In this space, as they feel the sting of their own choices, remember, silence is not passive, it's powerful. Let it speak for you. So let's affirm it now together. Silence is my superpower. Say it like you mean it. Feel the strength in that choice. Silence is more than a reaction, it's a declaration of self-respect. Stay with me, and I'll show you the impact it can have, how silence becomes the strongest boundary, the deepest lesson. And while we're at it, if you feel these words resonate with your journey, hit that like button. Drop today's affirmation in the comments below. Silence is my superpower. As Epictetus wisely put it, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. This moment is yours to take, a moment where your silence asserts your worth. Go ahead, write it down. This is your stance, your turning point. Silence is my superpower. Now stick around as we explore the subtle shift your silence creates. It's a shift that unsettles, that speaks volumes without a single word. It brings them face to face with the hollow they feel when you no longer cushion their pride. Ready to see how silence transforms the balance of power? Let's dive in. And before we go deeper into what this shift does to them, let's address a feeling you might be wrestling with. Love, even in the face of disrespect, can complicate things. Perhaps you fear that too much silence might mean losing them for good. Maybe you're wondering, what if they forget about me? That fear is real and powerful. But here's the truth, they're not going anywhere. The mask they wear is just that, a mask. Beneath it, your absence gnaws at them daily, even as they pretend they're fine. So trust in this. Silence, as difficult as it feels, is stirring a reckoning within them that they can't escape. Your silence has already reached depths that words could never touch. And here's the undeniable truth. If they can't recognize your worth in this space, in this quiet absence, then perhaps they never saw it in the first place. Ask yourself, do you really want someone who needs constant reminders to see your value? You deserve someone who doesn't need the threat of loss to appreciate what they have. This silence isn't just a pause, it's a test, a moment of revelation. It brings clarity, both for them and for you. Because if, even in your absence, they remain blind to your worth, then the truth emerges: they may not deserve the gift of your love, your attention, or your energy. Embrace this realization, as it's one of the most powerful gifts you can give yourself. Hold steady, and let's explore what lies ahead for them, because the impact of your absence has already begun to take root. And if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that like button. It's a way to share these insights with others who may need this reminder, a small act of kindness in someone else's journey. Are you ready to dive into their unfolding path of regret and awareness? Let's begin. First, the realization of absence. This is the stage where the truth begins to dawn. Outwardly, they may keep up appearances, pretending life continues as it always has. But beneath that facade, they begin to feel it a void, a distinct emptiness where your presence once warmed their life. And here's the catch: they can't just reach out and pull you back, not like before. You are no longer within easy reach, and that's a realization they'll struggle to accept. Now let's discuss a common pitfall. Many of us in this moment feel a sudden surge of doubt or compassion. We think, maybe I should check in, maybe I should remind them I'm here. We're tempted to reach out, to offer that comfort once more, to show them they still mean something. But each time we break the silence, we dilute the power of our absence. Silence is your opportunity to let them sit with their own thoughts, their own regrets, their own solitude. Here's another misconception: that silence means waiting, standing still, watching your phone, hoping they'll finally realize what they lost. But that's not what silence is meant to be. Silence isn't pressing pause on your life, it's pressing play. This silence is a space for transformation, a time to reclaim the energy you once poured into them and reinvest it in yourself. It's an invitation to grow, to become stronger, more resilient, and more focused on your own path. Consider this a phase of inner alchemy. Silence becomes a fertile ground, one in which both clarity and growth can flourish. And if, in this stillness, they come to recognize the depth of their feelings, that's when a new understanding takes root. This silence is like planting a seed, giving it the time and space to grow into something meaningful, if it's meant to be. In the silence, without any nurturing from you, that seed either takes root or it withers. If they truly care, they'll feel the profound absence you've left, an emptiness that speaks louder than any words. That void may stir something real within them, a need to fill the space you once held. And it's in that moment where genuine change can emerge. But consider this: if they feel nothing, if your silence doesn't move them at all, then let that truth reveal itself now rather than later. Silence often clarifies what is real and what is merely an illusion. You're not here to convince anyone of your value. Instead, this is a moment to see if they can sit in that silence, confront the emptiness, and recognize what they've lost. If they don't feel drawn to reach back for you, then perhaps that's the sign you need, that they were never truly worthy of the love and energy you poured in. As Seneca once said, if you seek a true friend, distance yourself from those who would feel no sorrow to lose you. This is the power of the silence you're holding. They are either mourning your absence or moving forward without a second thought. And either way, you are victorious, because you are discovering who genuinely deserves your time, your love, and your commitment. Imagine yourself standing tall, looking forward, and no longer turning back. You're shaping a life filled with growth, resilience, and inner strength, a life defined by your own sense of worth, not by someone else's fleeting attention. And as you progress, life has a way of making the right people take notice. If they are meant for you, they will find their way to you. If not, you're far better off continuing down your own path without regret. Here's an affirmation for this phase, a reminder of the strength you're cultivating. I choose myself over the need for their attention. My silence is my strength, and my path is my own. Say it, write it, make it a part of who you are. Stay with me. This journey has only just begun. Right now, we can't know if they truly love you or if they'll come back. This silence is merely the beginning of a process that will uncover those answers. There are still more stages ahead, stages where the truth will reveal itself and their real feelings will rise to the surface. So be patient. Let the silence do its work. Allow them to feel the gravity of your absence. We're only getting started, and clarity will come with each step forward. Trust that you're about to see the full power that silence holds over those who once underestimated you. Stay firm, stay resilient, because this journey is far from over. Next, the mask of indifference. This stage may be one of the hardest to witness. You'll see them acting as if they're unaffected, wearing a mask of indifference, which may lead you to question everything. They might post on social media, laugh with friends, and put on a show of moving on. But make no mistake, it's a performance, a carefully crafted facade meant to disguise what they truly feel. This can be one of the most confusing and painful stages, but remember, it's all part of the path to clarity. This mask of indifference can easily make you wonder whether your silence has any effect, or even worse, whether you ever truly mattered to them at all. But let's set one thing straight. Their show of indifference doesn't mean they're unaffected. No, far from it. This mask is often a shield, a first line of defense when someone senses a shift in control. Think of it like a game of poker. They're bluffing, acting as if your silence is insignificant, just to maintain a sense of control. They're holding up a front, hoping you'll believe they're unbothered, fully content without you. And here lies the trap. We often start thinking, if they're this unfazed, maybe I should reach out. Maybe they don't miss me at all. But this is precisely the stage when your silence begins to unsettle them, even if they won't admit it. As Epictetus taught, circumstances don't make the man, they reveal him. Your absence, your silence, is laying bare something within them that they're not ready to confront. And instead of facing it, they hide behind this mask, pretending not to care as a way to protect their pride. Imagine their indifference as a shield, a defense against their own feelings. By pretending to feel nothing, they hope that you will be the one to reach out first to restore things on their terms. It's like a tug of war where they're standing their ground, but all the while they're losing their balance. Inside, they're wrestling with a quiet panic, hiding behind this mask of indifference, hoping you don't notice the cracks starting to form. This is the moment where you need to hold your ground, to see their mask for what it is, an illusion. Behind it, they feel your absence deeply, no matter how well they perform their indifference. And now, more than ever, you must resist the urge to check in or soothe their discomfort. This is not a time to rescue them from what they're facing within themselves. The moment you break your silence, you restore their sense of control. Then think of your silence as a quiet storm building its pressure. Outwardly, they may go about life as if nothing has changed, but inside they are beginning to feel the emptiness take hold. Their mask is a fragile attempt to convince themselves they don't need you, that they can go on just fine without you. Yet deep down, a void is taking shape, something a mask cannot cover, a hollowness that grows as they attempt to carry on without you. This stage is also a test of your strength. It's easy to think that your only task is to wait in silence. But your silence is more than just waiting. It becomes unstoppable when combined with action. Instead of waiting for them to notice, turn your energy inward. Focus on yourself, on building strength and resilience. Picture yourself as steel in the forge each day. As you work on yourself, you're becoming sharper, more refined, and undeniably resilient. And this growth, this strength, will be impossible for them to ignore. If their feelings are genuine, this silence will draw out emotions they can no longer suppress. As they see you grow and move forward, the mask they wear will become heavy, almost unbearable. They'll feel a pull, a need they can't ignore, as your silence echoes within them as a loud reminder of what they're losing. But what if there's no love behind that mask? What if the indifference is more than a show? Then this silence is a gift to yourself, a truth revealed that allows you to see them for who they really are. The last thing you want is to invest your energy into someone whose heart remains unmoved. If they are truly indifferent, then you have clarity, and that is a priceless gift. As Marcus Aurelius once said, it is not events that disturb people, but their judgments concerning them. If they remain unmoved by your absence, let that judgment guide you toward letting go fully without looking back. So here's the truth in this moment. Whether they're hiding real emotions or are truly indifferent, your focus remains on yourself. Don't let their mask distract you. Keep building, keep growing, and allow them to sit with their own discomfort. If they miss you, they'll return in their own time. If they don't, they've made space in your life for someone who values you deeply. Affirm this: I am unshaken by their indifference. I am building my own strength and worth. Say it aloud. Let this reminder fortify you whenever doubt tries to creep in. This moment is your opportunity to show that you're no longer affected by their games or stung by their mask. Every day you're becoming stronger, sharper, and more resilient. And stay with me, because the journey is just beginning to intensify. If you think their mask of indifference will last forever, think again. We're peeling back more layers, and soon enough, the truth will emerge in ways they can't disguise. Now let's connect. Let me know where you stand right now. Have you already taken that step into silence, or are you still wrestling with doubts? If you're feeling lost or have questions, join me in the comments. I'm here to help you through this journey. And if you have nothing specific to share, just drop a quick keep it up in the comments. It lets me know you're here, committed to this journey, and it helps keep our conversation alive for everyone. Stage 3, feeling the weight of regret. Now we're entering a phase they can't hide from, the weight of regret. At first, they tried to keep their cool, concealing their feelings behind a mask. But now, your silence is bearing down on them, a force they can't ignore. They begin to feel the void, the unmistakable emptiness, and regret starts creeping in like an unwelcome visitor. In this phase, they'll replay every moment, every chance they missed to show you appreciation, to value you, to keep you close. It's as though they're standing at a cliff's edge, looking back over all the moments they took for granted. They're haunted by the realization that each careless action, each instance of disregard, is now costing them something they never imagined losing you. As Seneca wisely said, every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. Right now, they're feeling the end of what they once had with you, and it's sinking in deeply. Though they may not voice it, they're feeling the weight of this loss. It's not merely loneliness, it's the sharp sting of knowing they had something precious, something real, and let it slip away. Imagine regret as a shadow trailing behind them, drawing nearer as your silence endures. This isn't merely a longing for your presence. It's the dawning awareness that they made a choice knowingly or unknowingly to push you away. And now, without you, without the comfort of your presence, they're forced to confront an uncomfortable truth. They undervalued someone they should have cherished. They might attempt to brush off this regret, keeping up appearances and acting unbothered. But it's a mask that won't hold forever. Inside, that regret is building like a silent storm, growing stronger with each memory, each reminder of what they've lost. And they're beginning to realize this isn't something they can easily undo. The ball is no longer in their court. The choice is yours now. They no longer hold the reins, and that helplessness feeds the regret they're feeling so intensely. If they truly care, this regret will weigh on them, leading them towards self-reflection and perhaps humility. But if they don't, that's a revelation in itself. Now you're seeing their true colors. Take a moment to affirm, I am worth more than their regret. I choose myself over anyone's fleeting feelings. Say it aloud if you need to. Let it sink in. You're not here to wait for someone to realize your worth. Their regret is theirs to bear, and your strength is yours to cultivate. This journey is far from over, and regret is only the beginning of what they'll face as they confront the reality of losing someone they thought would never leave. Hold tight, because there's more truth to uncover. Stage 4, trying to replace you with someone new. At this stage, they're beginning to feel the impact of your absence. But rather than reflecting on their actions, they might look for an easy escape, a shortcut. They may try to find someone new, hoping to fill the space you left with a replacement. Watching them jump into a new connection or surround themselves with others can sting, as if they're simply erasing the bond you shared. But don't be fooled. This isn't resolution, it's avoidance. Think of it like placing a bandage over a wound that needs deeper healing. They're hoping that by investing time in someone else, they'll avoid facing their regret, the emptiness, and the reality of your absence. This isn't about moving on, it's about distraction. They're trying to use another presence to cover the void left by yours. While it might look as if they're happy or unaffected, remember, new people are not the cure for unresolved feelings. This attempt to replace you is often more of a coping mechanism than an actual connection. When we lose something valuable, sometimes the initial reaction is to find a substitute to quickly fill the space without any real transformation. It's like replacing a puzzle piece with something that doesn't quite fit, hoping it will somehow cover the gap. But deep down, they sense this isn't the answer. As philosopher Alain de Botton once said, people only become truly interesting when they start to rattle the bars of their cages. Instead of facing their own limitations, breaking free and growing, they're staying within that cage, hoping a new face will distract them from the truth. But that's all it is, a distraction. They might post on social media, go out with friends, or showcase their new connections to appear as if they've moved on. Yet, it's all part of the performance, a mask worn to avoid feeling the real void your absence has created. While the show may seem convincing, the reality is that something genuine can't be replaced by something temporary. Watching them with someone new can trigger doubts in you too. You may start wondering if they ever truly cared or if you were that easily replaceable. But remember, this isn't about you. This is about their inability to sit with discomfort. What looks like a new relationship is often a placeholder, a way to fill time and push feelings aside. And if they never come to this realization on their own, it reveals a deeper truth. They were likely never capable of valuing you fully. Genuine connection is not something that can be swapped out like an accessory. If they're turning to new people, it shows they're more afraid of the silence than they are committed to genuine growth or understanding the depth of what they lost. Keep this affirmation close: I am irreplaceable. My value cannot be duplicated or substituted. Say it with conviction. Their actions don't determine your worth. In fact, their avoidance reveals who they are and what they're willing to settle for. Not everyone has the courage to face their own mistakes. Some people prefer the comfort of a new connection over the hard truth of loss. So stay with me, this journey is far from over. As they transition from distractions to genuine understanding, the layers of truth will only grow deeper. Hold on, there's much more to come. Stage 5. When their world starts falling apart. Now we arrive at the stage where their world truly begins to crumble. At first they tried to keep their cool, wearing a mask of indifference. Then they sought distractions in new connections, hoping these would fill the void. But now reality has caught up. There's no escaping it. Their life, once anchored by your presence, is beginning to unravel. When you were around, you were a source of stability, their quiet foundation, even if they never recognized it. Your presence brought a sense of balance they leaned on, often without realizing it. But now, without that foundation, cracks are beginning to show. They may have thought they could continue on unaffected, but slowly things are falling apart. Imagine them trying to hold water in their hands. The tighter they grip, the faster it slips away. As Epictetus once observed, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. They're beginning to confront their own emptiness, realizing that no possession, no fling, no distraction can substitute for the depth and security you brought into their life. This loss isn't just about losing you. It's about losing the grounding, the inner calm, the sense of purpose you added to their world. Picture it like a house of cards. They've been stacking distractions, false confidence, and surface-level connections. But without you as the cornerstone, it's all starting to tumble. They're facing the consequences of their choices, and it's beginning to weigh on them. Tasks that once felt easy now seem heavy, and they can't quite pinpoint why. But you understand the reason. You were the one who grounded them. Now they're drifting, facing the chaos they created. Maybe their friendships feel shallow, or their work lacks meaning. They're restless and unfocused, realizing the void left by your absence. This stage often brings a sense of loss that can't be ignored. The usual routines and distractions are no longer enough, forcing them to confront an uncomfortable truth. they lost someone who genuinely mattered. But this unraveling is necessary. Sometimes, people need to experience the absence of something valuable to truly recognize its worth. This is their wake-up call, the moment when the illusions start to fade, and they're left with the consequences of their choices. In this stage, you might feel sympathy or even a desire to step in and help. But remember, this is their journey. They need to face the impact of losing you on their own, to deal with the reality of their actions without leaning on you for support. Only now are they starting to understand that the world they built without valuing you was never as solid as they believed. So hold firm. Remind yourself, I am the stability they lost, but my strength is my own. Let this affirmation ground you as their world unravels. This is a testament to the impact you had and the reality they created for themselves. Stay with me, because as their world continues to collapse, the truth will only grow clearer. We're just beginning to reach the core. Stage 6, struggling in the silent void. Now we enter the stage where distractions fade and the comfort of new connections turns hollow. They find themselves alone in silence, a silence that feels like a void, an empty space that once held the presence of your steady support. Here in this silent void, they begin to struggle. The masks are gone, the pretenses have dissolved, and there are no quick fixes left. They are left alone with the echoes of their choices and a quiet reminder of what they've lost. This stage brings an ache they can't quite name, a hollow, gnawing feeling, a void they can't fill. For the first time, they are forced to confront the reality of your absence without any buffer or distraction. They may have thought they could move past this, believing the discomfort would naturally fade with time. But this silence is unyielding, and the emptiness only deepens. Picture it like a barren desert they're wandering through, searching for any source of relief, a drop of comfort to soothe the ache. But in this silence, there's nothing, only the realization that they've lost something irreplaceable. No matter how they try to carry on, they find themselves drawn back to this empty space, feeling the weight of your absence. As Lao Tzu observed, silence is a source of great strength. Your silence has now become their struggle, their weakness. What they once saw as your constant presence, something they could always rely on, has become a haunting absence, a reminder that they once held something rare and invaluable, and they allowed it to slip away. This void is not a loud or dramatic pain, it's quiet, relentless, growing with time. They may try to bury it under busyness, but this silence seeps into every corner of their life. They feel it in the morning, alone with their thoughts. They feel it throughout the day, unable to reach out to you as they once could. And they feel it at night, lying in bed, staring into the dark with no messages, no reminders of your care, just the empty space they once took for granted. This stage isn't easy for them, and it may not be easy for you to observe. You might feel the urge to check on them, to see if they've recognized what they lost. But remember, this is their struggle, not yours. They need to sit with this silent void, to experience fully the weight of what they let go. It's not your role to rescue them from this emptiness. What if they truly valued you? If they did, this silence will echo within them, stirring something they cannot ignore, urging them to reflect on how they reached this place. If there was genuine care, this silent void will make them realize that they lost something singular, something they will not find again in anyone else. This emptiness is a reflection of the loyalty they failed to honor. But if they did not truly value you, this silence will reveal that truth as well. If they can move through this void unaffected, then you know they were never as invested as you were. Either way, this silence will bring clarity, uncovering what is real. Your silence has become a mirror, reflecting the reality of their choices without anyone there to shield them from the consequences. Hold on to this affirmation. My silence speaks of my strength and worth. Let it serve as a reminder that your silence is not a weakness, it's a powerful decision. A choice to respect yourself enough to step back and allow them to confront the reality they created. Stay with me, because as they wrestle in this void, clarity only deepens. We're moving closer to the final stage, where truth emerges in ways even they can no longer ignore. The silence, the emptiness, it's all building to the moment they truly face what they've lost. Stage 7, breaking down or breaking through. Now we reach the final stage, the moment of reckoning where they either break down or break through. After the masks, distractions, and attempts to fill the emptiness, they have arrived at a point where the truth is unavoidable. This is the threshold where they must choose, confront the loss, take responsibility for their actions, and grow or remain stuck in denial, allowing regret to weigh on them indefinitely. For some, this becomes the breaking point. The regret, the loneliness, the silence, it all becomes too much. And instead of moving forward, they spiral into guilt and despair. The pain they thought would be temporary now feels persistent and profound. Every attempt to escape only leads them back to the same hollow feeling, an emptiness that begins to consume them if they remain unwilling to face the consequences of their choices. Yet for others, a different path appears. They may come to see your absence not only as a loss but as an awakening. In a moment of clarity, they recognize that this silence is an opportunity, a chance to confront the parts of themselves that led them here. At this stage, if they have the courage, they begin to break through rather than break down. They see where they went wrong, and for the first time, they may truly begin to grow. Think of this stage as a fork in the road. They can allow this silence to define them, sinking further into regret, or they can let it transform them. Like iron forged in fire, this experience holds the potential to shape them into someone wiser, someone who understands the value of what they had. But growth is not guaranteed. It requires strength and humility, traits that not everyone is willing to summon. Here, the words of Marcus Aurelius ring true. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Your silence was their obstacle, forcing them to either evolve or remain stagnant. If they break through, it is because they found the willingness to learn. If they break down, it is because they could not face the challenge. And here lies the beauty of this stage. Whichever path they choose, you are no longer tied to their journey. Their growth, or lack thereof, is no longer your responsibility. You took the brave step of silence, of walking away, of giving them the space to confront themselves. You have done your part, and their choice now belongs to them alone. If they choose to grow, they may return with a newfound respect, perhaps even an apology. But remember, this journey isn't about waiting for them to realize your worth. It's about recognizing your own worth, knowing that your strength, stability, and respect belong to you, regardless of their path. This journey was as much about reclaiming your own strength as it was about them confronting their own limitations. For this final step, take a moment to declare your freedom. I am free now. This is your moment to step fully into your own power, leaving behind any lingering expectations, any hope that they might become someone different. You've grown, transformed, and now you're free to move forward without being tied to their path. As we close this chapter, remember, every step you took was a testament to your strength and a reinforcement of boundaries that reflect your true worth. Whether they recognize what they've lost or not, you have gained something far more valuable: clarity, confidence, and independence. This journey may not have been easy, but look at the strength you've uncovered within yourself. Now, it's time to turn your gaze forward. If this message resonated with you, feel free to like, subscribe, and share it with others who may need this reminder. Let's keep spreading the message of self-worth and resilience. And before you go, share a quick note in the comments. Are you open to a new connection, or are you embracing your independence right now? Let us know where you're at. Remember, you've come so far, and this is only the beginning of the freedom and fulfillment you truly deserve.